So welcome, this is the level 2 recording. Oh, let me get my video going in the background. And this one is all about harmonics. And so there was just a very good perceptive question that was about harmonics. And that gave me a very good segue. And let me also get my images up so that you can see. And a picture's worth 1,000 words. And we're going to do a lot with music. So hold on 1 minute, because I'm happy that I'm here in my studio today. I've got my pianos all set, and I have some good images to work with. So here we go. Let me get another picture. I have a lot of good pictures actually for today. Thank you for bearing with me while I do this. It's slow. There we go. Because harmonics is all about the patterns that I paint in my artwork, but it's also all about the patterns of waveforms and the way that they fit together. And that is what we call music, but your chakras are also made of patterns and waveforms. And so this has everything to do with the waveforms and the patterns that your chakras create when they fit together. And we are attempting to be in tune. We want to be in tune with Earth and in tune with our chakras. Okay, cool. I'm muting, not because I don't want to hear from you, but because I don't want to have static on the line. Here we go. Okay, getting going on level 2 now. Thank you for giving me a bit of time to pull up my pictures. The question was from level 1, and it was about the connection of the 2 hemispheres of the brain and the vibration of unconditional love, and if there is a connection between the two. And it's a beautiful question, first of all, because it understands, like I was speaking about vibration and sympathetic vibration. Sympathetic vibration is literally the definition of compassion. Compassion means when my heart vibrates sympathetically with your heart. Compassion means if my string is vibrating, my heart is vibrating at this rate, and your heart vibrates at the same rate, you have compassion. Like, you're sad, and I feel sad too. This is, or I understand and appreciate your feelings of sadness. That's compassion, or whatever. You are having a difficult time in your life, and I am understanding the difficult time in your life. This is compassion. It has everything to do with literally your vibrations. Let's also talk about what is known as the Maharishi effect, but can be called the meditation effect. This was done in the 1970s when many transcendental meditators got together and meditated in concert for a specific period of time, and then they correlated the results to crime statistics in the area. I believe it was Washington, D.C., and there was a severe drop in violent crime that coincided very nicely with all of the times when people were meditating in concert. And this is like saying what you send out with this vibration is absolutely affecting everyone else. And then let's say you're in a pissed off, horrible mood and you're emitting, angry black shards of energy. That is totally affecting other people too. We all are affecting one another. And so if you are singing in a disharmonious way that is out of tune, then that will affect other people. First of all, let me just get a little visual thing here, and we'll talk about what is harmonics. What do I mean by harmonics? I have everything all set up over here, but I have to just, get it. So this. Harmonics. These are waveforms fitting together, and waveforms are made out of circles and half circles. So this is a 6-inch circle, and this is a 2-inch circle, and this is a 4-inch circle. And a 4-inch circle and a 2-inch circle fit together beautifully within a 6-inch circle. And that is what a lot of my artwork is all about, all right? But this also is about sound and the way that sound waves fit together. So the question was about the hemispheres of the brain. And the answer is that Earth has a resonance. I want to draw a picture of Earth back here. If this is Earth's surface, And then this black line is the stratosphere or Earth's atmosphere. Earth has a vibration, and that vibration is called the Schumann resonance, and it is the vibration that is made from energy bouncing back and forth between Earth's surface and the levels of the atmosphere. And this energetic vibration has been measured at 8 hertz, all right? And now we're going to talk about all about the piano and the way that the piano is tuned. But basically, when your hemispheres of your brain are vibrating back and forth at the rate of 8 hertz, or numbers that match happily with the number 8, then you are in harmony with the planet. What do I mean by in harmony? All right, we're going to get now, do some drawings, make some room, do some drawings. If this is like the neutral point, and this is a wave, you know, and the wave is going up, down, something is harmonious if these are nodes. Do you see this place where the wave has crossed the line? That is a node. The node, I have to rewind on my teaching here. The node is created, like if this is 0 or neutral, the node is created at the place where the string doesn't vibrate. So it goes up and it goes down, and I'm making a giant blue X in that place. That node or crossing place is the place where the string does not vibrate. It doesn't go up and it doesn't go down. It remains neutral. So harmonics is when we have a comfortable nesting of these nodes. Comfortable nesting would be like if I had a wave put together like that. I have overarching wave, and then the other wave fits within it perfectly. Now I'm going to draw in another color, an ugly wave that doesn't fit perfectly. Oh, look at that. This area over here, that doesn't fit perfectly. I like to say it's like a foot that hangs off the edge of the bed. So here's my circles, all right? This is an overarching 6-inch circle, and it fits perfectly together with a 4-inch circle and a 2-inch circle. But let's say I take this 2-inch circle away, and instead of a 2-inch circle, I put there a 2.4-inch circle. Look at what happens. Look at what happens. I'm being facetiously angry, but you understand what I'm saying. Look at what happens. This is overhang. Look at this. That's like if you're not sleeping with all of your limbs on the bed and your toe or your ankle is hanging off the edge of the bed. This makes it not harmonic. Harmonics has to do with waveforms nesting together perfectly and the nodes matching up perfectly. All right. Now we're going to get into your chakras, and we're going to get into music because I got my piano all set up here. So Earth's harmonic or Earth's frequency, its natural frequency is 8 hertz. And if we used that as the basis, if we made low C calibrated to 8 hertz, then it would make middle A 432 hertz. And I'm writing it down for you, even though it'll be backwards on your screen, but I hope you can see 432, all right? The only problem is, since the 1940s and 1950s, late 20th century, all music in this time and place has been tuned to 440 hertz, and I'm going to write that down too. 440 hertz. This means that low C, instead of being tuned to 8 hertz, is tuned to 16.32. All right? Why? Aurora, why are you telling me this? Why are you assaulting my ears with all of these numbers? There's a reason it matters. Bear with me on the numbers. When we take 440, we got a little, Mike says, That's very good to hear. I'm happy that you're able to see the numbers correctly and not have them be reversed. When we take 440, the frequency of the concert A, middle A, and we divide it by 3, and then you multiply by 2. This is how you go down an octave. Aurora, what is an octave? Okay, everyone, let's do music. So octave means a set of 8 notes. And we, in our chakras, comprise an octave. We start off with red, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, back to red. But for us, that next red note would be white. It would be the culmination of everything that we are. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet all adds up to white light. But on the piano, so this is starting off with C, going all the way up to the next C. So C to C is an octave. Octave means 8. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. 8 notes, all right? And I'll show you, this is a image that I created in order to understand music and understand the keyboard. I took a picture of the keyboard and I actually colored it in digitally so that I could understand, and I'm using white so that I hope you can see this over here. But we're starting off with, I don't know if you can even see that I'm highlighting that, this key right here. So if you, I don't know if you are familiar with the piano keyboard, but generally, I have colored these in rainbow. Generally, most of these keys are white. And then you can see there's a pattern of 2 black keys, 3 black keys, 2 black keys, 3 black keys. Hey, does this remind anyone of DNA, where you've got 2 things spaced close together and then a space? 2 things and then a space. I'm just saying. And the note that is directly to the left of one of these 2 black keys is red. That is C. That's where we begin. And it makes a sound like this. And that's middle C, because my piano keyboard has 88 keys, and means that it's made up relatively of about 8 octaves. 8 groupings of 8 notes. So you and I, we live within the human octave. This is the human octave. These are your chakras. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and then up to white light. This is the human octave. When we start off with A, this middle A, the way we go down an octave to this A is we divide by 3 and multiply by 2. When I take the number 440 and I divide by 3 and multiply by 2, something happens that makes my ears unhappy. That something is analogous to waves that don't fit, having extra things, here we go so that you can see it, that hang over the edge of the circle. And I'll draw it on the background blackboard so that people at home later on can see. But if we have a circle like this, and then I have 2 circles inside of it, if this circle doesn't fit completely inside and there's this area that hangs over the edge, that is disharmonious. And when I divide 440 by 3, I get these numbers that are endlessly repeating numbers, like, you know, 0.333 repeating or 0.6 repeating. An endlessly repeating number is like a loop that hangs over the edge, or like your foot hanging over the edge of the bed. And our ears can hear these endlessly repeating numbers. So in the piano keyboard, start off in the middle. This is the middle octave. In order to go lower, the lower notes go to the left, and the lower notes you have to divide by 3. So when we tune music to 440, this A is in tune. This A has a series of endlessly repeating 3s in it that don't sound very nice to my ear. Same thing with this A. Same thing with that A. But going up the scale, This is middle A. We're starting here. And now, oh, that A sounds very pretty to me. It's fine because we're multiplying by 3. Multiplying by 3, we still get whole numbers. We don't end up with a number like 1/3 or 2/3 or 0.3 repeating or 0.6 repeating. So those higher notes sound very nice. Before I learned about any of this, I intuitively always liked playing the higher notes at the higher end of the piano. And I didn't understand. I thought, maybe it's just because I'm right-handed. Maybe it's just because I'm lazy and I don't like to use my left hand. Maybe it's because I'm a female and my voice is high and I like to sing the higher notes. I now understand it's not because of any of those things. It's because the notes that are on the lower end of the scale are literally not in tune. And this is not by accident. I was telling you, forgive me if I have repeated it within this teaching, but the change happened in 1940 with Hitler. Hitler was very good at manipulating human consciousness using all sorts of different tools of manipulation, including music. So he had all of the music for the Third Reich was tuned to be 440 hertz for the A note. And this was a departure from symphonic music, like the work of Verdi, the opera composer. He composed, I'll get to your question in a second, he composed the A note at 432 hertz. And a lot of ancient instruments, like from ancient Greece and even earlier, they are tuned to 432 hertz. This is because if we start off with the lowest C being 8 hertz, which matches the Schumann resonance of Earth, when we work up to middle A, we should have 432. And if we divide 432 by 3, we get beautiful whole number increments. It's like saying all of our circles match up inside and we don't hear anything hanging off the edges. The reason for this is consciousness has been reduced, in the latter half of the 20th century. When people used to go in the 1600s and listen to symphonic music like Bach, first of all, it was usually in a religious context. It might be, in a cathedral or something like that. And it was all for the elite, the high members of society, people who could afford to go to a musical concert. And it was meant for consciousness raising. People were meant to go and have these experiences of music that were divine, like feeling like you were being bathed in God. And if you've ever gone to a cathedral and had a musical experience like with a pipe organ, and the emotions that you can feel when you are bathed in these beautiful harmonic vibrations, it can bring your consciousness to higher levels. Hitler understood that you can use music in the opposite direction. You can use music to bring consciousness lower, to create feelings of fear and dread. So we all understand this now on a very intuitive level. When you go to the movies, or if you remember any silent movies from a very long time ago, if you have ever watched them, before there were even soundtracks, they had a live piano player. When there was something bad that was going to happen in the movie, they played certain notes and certain chords. Dun, dun, dun. Those notes and chords have a resonant frequency. I just need to drink a little something. And what that particular music is resonating at is the frequency of fear. And your DNA, as I was just recording in the previous, level 1 material, your DNA is like a vibrating guitar string. And if someone else hits the right chords, it can make you and your emotions and your DNA feel fearful. So our own government knows about this and has used subsonics. These are extremely low frequencies that are sometimes too low to even be perceived by your ear, but they affect your consciousness. just because you don't consciously perceive of a color or a sound doesn't mean you're not being affected by it. You're absolutely still being affected by it. So most of the music that we're subjected to, like in movies and TV and everything, it has components in it to control your emotions. On a much larger and more nefarious level, music of this culture has been designed to reduce human consciousness. Even the idea of elevator music, this is beyond, but it's music that is not good music intentionally. It's meant to be played in an elevator or in a background setting, and it's meant to just distract you slightly. Or the music that is played when you are in a grocery store, or any of that background music. It is not music that is meant to bring your mind to a higher level of consciousness or make you feel like you're having a presence of God in front of you. It's the opposite. It's music that is just meant to fill the space, anesthetize your mind, and make you not think that clearly. And that is the way that music is being used in this time and place, instead of a tool for consciousness upliftment, as a tool for diminishing human consciousness. I know that there was a chat down here. Okay, two chat questions. So one of the questions is, do the notes of the piano match the other instruments in an orchestra, or are the instruments of the rest of the orchestra out of whack too? The answer is, beautiful question, thank you very much. Since the 1950s, when the international governing body that determines symphonic music and what things should be tuned to, since that time, it has been standardized that all music is tuned to 440 hertz. So that means the tubas, the pianos, and the piccolos are all tuned to 440 hertz. It's not like one of the instruments is out of tune and the rest of the instruments are in tune. They're all out of tune. And what that means, if we were expressing this graphically, like visually, instead of filling a room with all of these beautiful waveforms that should all fit together perfectly, where we have all of the circles match, like my paintings. I don't know if you've ever looked at my paintings in great detail, but there are rules about where the circles come together, about where they match, and about where they're allowed to overlap. And it's not arbitrarily designed at all. It's all according to these harmonic rules and structures. And even when you go to a symphony with these instruments that are out of tune, what you end up having is a lot of overhang. You have a lot of feet hanging over the edge of the bed and a lot of waveforms that are fighting each other instead of working together beautifully. And the overall experience is of chaos as opposed to order. And we'll get into the chakras too. I'm about to jump into your human chakras, but there's another question. If we divide by 3 and multiply by 2, starting with 8, how do we get to 432? I am playing on a calculator and can't do it. If I start with 432, life is good. Okay, hold on a second. I have this written down right over here. In going down from 432, going down the musical scale, we divide by 3 and multiply by 2. But going up from there, we multiply by 3 and divide by 2. It's the opposite. Multiply going upward. So play on a calculator. If this is 432 and we divide by 3 and then multiply by 2, that should give you the next frequency of the A that is going down. And if you do that same maneuver again, it should give you the second octave, and if you do that one more time, it should give you the first octave. But that's A. And so in order to find C, which should be the 8 hertz is what we want C to be, and A is over here, we'd still have to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more notes in order to get to C. So I'm still working out, that level of understanding and doing all of the calculations, but I wanted to tell you all about the way that music has been reducing human consciousness. I want to get to the chakras because I have the chakras up here, but Do you have more questions about music or things that I need to elucidate more? Do I need to do a little bit more description before I jump? Yes, so Lucy's asking, is 432 is the middle A? That is correct. 432 is this guy right up here, which actually on my piano is tuned to 440. And this is it's not a piano with strings. I'm going to see if there's some way that I can tune it properly. But right now I'm in tune with my times, but I would rather be in tune with real reality. I want to talk about our solar system and our chakras as aspects of harmonics. So the next chat question, okay. And each calculation is for the next octave up or down. Exactly. Absolutely. I know, it's good specialty information. Let me, okay. So I've got some good pictures of the chakras here, and I hope that you can see them on your screen at home. This is all about, and I've got the original right here that I can show you maybe even a little bit more clearly. Are you guys familiar with cymatics? Have you ever heard this word? Let me write it down. Cymatics is the visual representation of sound. This is what happens when you take a very fine powder like sand or something like that and you sprinkle it onto a plate, and then you apply a vibration to that plate. If I just drew a plate back there and these are all little tiny pieces of sand, as you begin to vibrate that plate, the sand makes these beautiful, elegant geometric vibrations. It makes these beautiful complex patterns. And the patterns are created by places where molecules can be and places where molecules can't be. And all of this is determined by amplitude. Ooh, let's make some room. So amplitude, if this is like neutral, if this is 0, and let's say I have two waves. I have a red wave, and here's my red wave. And let's say I add a blue wave, and I add it coherently. So it's the same exact, if it is 2 units tall and 2 units, if it goes up 2 units and down 2 units, I'm going to add a blue wave that's exactly the same. So it's 2 units up, 2 units down, and look, they're coherent. All of their peaks and all of their troughs fit together. When I do that, I end up with a third wave, and I'll make it colored green. I don't know if you can see it back there, but what happens is it ends up being increased in amplitude. So a 2 plus a 2 would make a 4. Like if red is 2 and blue is 2 and I added them both together, it would make amplitude 4. Or it's like saying if one person is singing a C and another person is singing a C, what do you get? A loud C. You get a C that is as loud as 2 people singing it together. What about canceling out? This is interference patterns. I'm sure that you have seen these when you drop a drop of water onto, or a drop of liquid onto a still surface, and you have these concentric circles that expand outward, and as they begin to expand outward and hit the edge, there will be other circles that will kind of come back in on them, and all of this creates these beautiful interference patterns, places where the amplitude has been increased and also places where it has canceled out. This is what I mean by cancel out. If this is 0 and I have a wave that is 2 up and 2 down and 2 up and 2 down, let's say that I do the opposite and I make a blue wave that is 2 down and 2 up and 2 down and 2 up. What that ends up equalizing out to is 0. I've just made a giant line in the middle. So this is kind of almost like a math problem. And the interference patterns happen on these cymatics plates because the energy that is vibrating means some areas collect lots of places of sand, and then there's a place of no place of sand. Then there's a place with lots of places of sand, and then there's a place with no places of sand. And this has to do with the nodes. I just drew that at the beginning part of this lesson. The nodes. If this is a string and it's vibrating, and here's the place where it goes up and here's the place where it goes down, this X, this blue X that I just made in the middle, that is a node. It's a place where the string didn't go up and it didn't go down. And these